Hey, I've been rambling for so long, my battery actually died on me. And the batteries I've plugged in to recharge, they weren't ready yet, so I took this time and I have actually changed the strings. So we've got 9 to 46 on the ghost fret, and let me just get this, right now, because I've been changing the strings for like half an hour at least. This guitar is awful. It's awful. If you want to get ghost fret made by Chapman with strap position, with button strap position right here, because I can't say how it would be on the back of it, prepare yourself to change your playing style, because you're gonna have to support the guitar all the time. It doesn't even go horizontal, it goes way below horizontal, okay? So normally I keep my guitars like so, and it goes like this, so the neck is here, so I can't really play. I mean, I have not decided yet, but I'm 98% sure I'm gonna have to send it back, because I mean, yes, it looks amazing. I don't have nothing against the quality, it's alright for that price, but it's unplayable, to be honest. I can't worry about supporting the neck of the guitar all the time. And I'm not saying this because of extensive playing on it. I've been trying to tune the bloody guitar, and it's a pain because the neck was diving. I couldn't, tune my guitar because of the neck dive. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how hard it is to play on it? If I can't tune it because it's diving all the time, and I had to support the neck with my other hand just to tune the guitar. So how terribly awful, it must be to actually play on it. So yeah, I've been rambling for so long, and actually I'm a little bit out of my momentum. I have also lowered the strings, and there is a slight problem, guys, and I think you guys should know about it. I've got 9s on the high end, and the intonation screw is at the very last piece of its thread. So if I would go to 8s, I wouldn't be able to intonate it with lower. I mean, it's really low now. It's really, the action is, yeah, it's relatively low. But if you really like to play with low action, everything below 9s might be a problem with intonation. I mean, every other string has lots of space to move around, but high E is on its last thread, so I wouldn't be able to fit 8s on this guitar. So yeah. So I have lowered all saddles. I haven't touched anything else. I have lowered all saddles, and I'm quite happy with it. There is no fret buzz on the bass strings. There is a little tiny bit of fret buzz on the treble strings, but I'm gonna bump them a little bit with that key. But yeah, I mean, it's not a problem, but it was way higher than it is right now. So yep. So yeah, even though I love this guitar, I mean, I love how it sounds like, I love how it looks like, I mean, maybe not love, but it's really nice. I'm not gonna be able to keep it, I'm not gonna be able to keep it, but because it's just unplayable. And just to make sure, I'm gonna spend at least 2 weeks playing it exclusively, only this guitar, nothing else, 4 hours each day. At least I'm gonna try and do so. There we go. There we go. And see if it's really, you know, such a pain in the bottom to play it and keep supporting it because of the crapped out balance. And such guitars shouldn't be even, you know, let to be sold later on. It should be stopped at the quality control, you know. If it can't stay, you know, moderately horizontal, not even, I mean, not horizontal, like, you know, a little upwards, but it goes way below horizontal, which is unaccepted in my opinion. Okay, looks nice and tidy now. So yeah, going back to the strings, because that was a topic, right? Don't look at me like this. You could be much better than you are. Okay, so I was lacking bass on this guitar, on this guitar, and I have finally decided to move to 11s, you know, and I was like, I really liked it at first, but then I have realized I can't really play those strings because of, you know, sweaty fingers, and I wasn't able to bend those strings. So it was hindering my playability, just like this guitar does with its, you know, out of balance body. So I didn't really want to go back, you know, to 10s because this is where I came from. So I thought about going lower, you know, but while I was reading in the past, I remember that people were saying something like that your tuning will suffer, your sound will be, you know, thinner, your sustain will suffer, and it really kept me, you know, out of this idea for a while. But you know, I tried it. I have ordered some 8s, and where are 8s? And this is exactly, I mean, that was the time when I have learned about rotor sound strings, and I have learned that they are offering free extra first string, which is high E string, and that's amazing because, you know, sometime in past, high E string snapped on me, and it wasn't 8, it was like, I don't know, 9 or something. I think it was made by Fender, by the way. Yeah, I had to open up the whole package of new strings, you know, and you know, I was missing one string because it snapped on me. So it's amazing that Rotor Sound brand is actually giving you one extra free high E string in case it snaps. But so far there were 8s here, and here, and it never snapped on me. 8 gauge string high E. So, but it's nice to have, you know, just in case a spare one. So this is how I have, you know, started learning about 8s, you know. I've learned that B.B. King, the Blues King, etc., and a guy from Billy Gibbon from ZZ Top. Anyways, they were using really light gauge strings, right? So yeah, then I have learned about Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath, and he was using 8s, and even with you know, lower tuning, with drop tuning, but actually his SG was you know, longer scale Gibson SG. I mean SG guitar, but not with Gibson scale. It was Fender length neck scale. So, but it was still drop tune. I don't remember. I think it was drop C. I'm not really sure though. Anyway, yeah. So I have put 8s on my guitars, and yeah, one thing I have noticed straight away is the the tuning stability was worse, but only for the amount of time, because I'm not stretching my strings, I'm letting them to stretch themselves during my practices, so there's a lot of tuning at first, but then everything stabilizes and you don't have to tune them that often. Whereas I need some light to see if I'm recording. There's the light. Okay. So yeah, but later on, when the strings actually stretched out, and the tuning was pretty much the same as with 11s, because at one point I couldn't decide if I want to play 8s or 11s. So I think I had 11s here on the Ibanez, and I've had 8 on SG, like a really oh my god, how do I say this? This was like a longer scale neck, so the tension was higher, and this was a shorter neck scale and the tension was lower, and it had 8, so it was like on the other side of the spectrum. It was super high tension here with standard tuning 11s, and super low tension here on SG short scale. I wanted it to check it out, if I can like the sound of this guitar, with super low tension on the guitar strings, and how it would play, and I would like to change, the very far experience with 11s, so I really couldn't decide. And at this point I realized that after a few minutes of playing, you can't actually, you can't really tell the difference, Yes, I'm picking up this guitar, there is a massive percussive sound, and the sustain is amazing with thicker gauge strings when the tension is really, high. And but it's harder, way harder to play, to do your bends. Everything requires more strength, and it's it's taxing you more. But it's you can get used to it and stuff like that. But when I was coming to SG, the strings felt so floppy that it was uncomfortable to play, It was uncomfortable to play here because of the high tension on the strings, and it was so hard to do anything. You had to put, so much pressure on the strings to make your bar chords sounds good, and bands were, incredibly hard, but still satisfying when you could, just shake your whole guitar to make that vibrato. And here, it was pain to actually chug, because even the light touch of your, wait, I'm gonna have to watch out for my bottom not to notch anything on the way going down. Even if you have your palm far away, the tension on the string is so little, so low, that if you press a little bit harder on the strings, you will mute those strings, where you have that really high tension. Even when you put your palm against strings quite firmly, you still got that beautiful metal chug, because the tension is so high you can't mute those strings, okay? So I really hated 8s at first, because it was hard for me to palm mute, and that's one of the things I really love about playing on the guitar, the chugs, the metal percussive sound when I'm palm muting. So it was a deal breaker with 8s, and but I still couldn't decide, actually, because this guitar, it sounded, there are still 8s sitting on this guitar, but because it plays so well with every, I didn't have 11s on this guitar, because I just didn't want to put extra pressure, 11 gauge strings really put some pressure on your neck. I didn't want to, just in case, damage the slots on the nut. I didn't want to put extra pressure on the neck, so I didn't put 11s on SG and Les Paul. Later on, I have learned about the loose peg, so thanks God I didn't put any thicker string gauge strings on the guitar, So I'm on the 46 to 9 now on the Gibson SG, and it holds up pretty well, but I don't feel comfortable that this pack is loose, okay? So I wouldn't put 11s on it. So I was literally, you know, playing this guitar a little bit and this guitar a little bit, and never in my life, in my 2 years, you know, guitar practicing, I've never been so focused, because I was trying to find every single, you know, nuances about thicker strings and thinner strings. And I've been learning so much, you know. I've learned that, yes, 8s were sustaining, that the sustain was shorter, okay? It was shorter, there's no lying. And it was one of those times that I really started hating 8s, because I was trying to do some bends, and actually my sustain, which was always there, was, you know, cutting way earlier than I remember it did, because the tension of the strings, you know, when the string is vibrating, if it's loose, it loses the momentum quicker, okay? If it's the tension is higher, it keeps vibrating longer, okay? So it was a deal breaker for me, but then I have learned that all you need to fix that problem is a little bit more gain. That's it. A little bit more gain and your sustain is back, okay? So same goes with 11 gauge strings, because the output is higher, your sound is getting more distorted, more you know, muddy. You have to roll your gain off a little bit, roll your gain low down a little bit to compensate for thicker strings, same as you have to do with, you know, thinner strings. So yeah, there is a lots of myths going on, that the lighter strings are this and that, and the thicker strings are that and this. And I think it all comes to the preference, you know. I mean, there are people on the internet, on YouTube, Rob Chapman as well, who tested 8s against 11s himself, and he couldn't decide as well, because it was just different, you know. Your ear, your hand, your mind gets used to it so quickly, you can't really tell a difference in terms of sound after a couple of minutes playing the guitar, you know. It feels different, it requires different approach, you know, the amount of force you're transferring onto the strings and similar stuff. But actually the sound, it doesn't really change that much, because you can easily compensate all this with your amp, okay, or tone knob. I don't know, I don't mess around with my tone knob, but it's easily fixable, okay. So it all comes to the playability. And you know, I couldn't make up my mind. 11s, you know, the strong percussive sound, I really like the, you know, idea that I can punch those strings and they will keep in tune, that I can bend the hell out of them and I won't go out of tune, because, you know, I will bend the strings way too much. You know, I didn't have to worry about this, but yeah, my hand was getting tired real quick, and you know, the idea that I'm putting extra strength, the extra tension on the neck of the guitar, nut slots, and everything is, you know, more tense. I don't know, and you know, later on it get colder, so I had no trouble with bending. I had actually no trouble with bending those two strings. I could do those bends, you know, a little. It was okay, but it wasn't, you know, as easy and as good sounding as 8s on my SG. I could do it so effortlessly, you know, with ease, that I could concentrate, I could focus on the music, you know, instead of fighting with my guitar. And I think it's gonna be the same with this guitar, you know. Instead of focusing on the melody, on the, you know, getting really deep in the music, I'm gonna have to think about holding the neck, you know, same as I had to think about, am I bending the string far enough? Is it gonna slip? You know, every single my finger movement had to be perfect, otherwise the string would slip right from my finger because of the, you know, high tension. Here it's more forgiving because the tension is so low, you know, you don't have to have your finger perfectly because the tension is low, and you can pinch the string and do whatever you want with that finger, you know, of yours. So like everything in life, there are some, you know, advantages and disadvantages, but as a matter of sound, you don't, you know, lose or gain that much, to be honest. You know, it's more about your feel. If you want to punch your strings harder, you want to really, you know, fight with those strings, you know, higher gauge strings are, you know, for you, right? If you want to play, you know, not worrying about strings slipping underneath your fingers, maybe you have small, really short fingers like I do, and you want to, you know, just with 8s, I could play the guitar without supporting the back of the neck with my thumb. I could just, you know, do it like so, because the tension is so low. I don't have to squeeze my hand hard to pinch those strings, so I can play like so, you know. I don't have to put it like so. I can't put it like so because my fingers are way too short, but yeah, I don't need to, because my thumb is there just to, I don't know, just slide on the neck, because I can easily, you know, pinch every single string. It's so easy to play. So I thought I've made my mind, you know. I've decided, you know, I wanted to swear. I don't want to swear. So F dot. I'm not gonna struggle. I wanna focus on playing music, you know, playing music. So I'm gonna settle down on 8s. I'm gonna, you know, play lighter. I'm gonna focus on being, you know, super expressive with bands. I can do whatever I want with the strings, and it was all right. You know, I've put 8s here, which are still here. I've put 8s here, which were here. 8s here, 8s here, and 8s here. At one point I had 8s on all of my guitars, and I was like, oh, I finally did it, you know. I've wasted a couple of string sets, you know, because I put 11s. I've never played 11s on this guitar. I just cut them, switched to 8s, you know. I've wasted at least 5 or 6 sets of strings doing so, 8s and 11s, which is stupid, I know, but yeah. And then I came to this guitar, you know. I've got my mind around that thing that I'm gonna lose a little bit of that bass, but, you know, to hell with it. I'm gonna used to this, you know. I'm gonna find some, you know, I'm gonna just get used to it. I'm gonna, you know, tweak my amp to get that bass out of the sound, and I'm gonna just compensate. And I'm gonna have to, you know, I'm gonna be able to do whatever I want because of the, you know, easiness of playing with especially shorter Gibson scale and 8 strings. So it was nice until I really wanted to, you know, make the guitar perfect and intonate it. So no problem with this guitar, intonated perfectly with 8s, 11s. Same here, same here, same here. Unfortunately, my Gibson Les Paul, I don't know if it's a problem with nut, probably not. It just, nobody thought that someone might be putting 8s on a Gibson Les Paul. So A string, you can't get anything lower. I would even dare to say you can't even get anything lower than 46 on the bass strings, because that saddle is at the edge of the bridge, you know. You can't do nothing about it to move it farther. You have to, you know, take it all apart, switch the saddle, which you can do, but there is this little cable holding all those screws, and I have learned that it's nearly impossible to put it back. So once you, you know, take it apart, you won't be, you're gonna have to waste a lot of time trying to get it back together, and there is little to impossible, you know, a chance to actually put it back together like it was. So at first I just said to myself, okay, all my guitars are intonated perfectly, you know, to hell with it. I'm gonna just have the Gibson Les Paul, you know, a little bit out of tune. But I couldn't focus actually, you know. I kept switching guitars and I was trying to hear the difference, because, you know, I have also learned that the intonation problem actually, you know, transfers to all of your chords and everything. And I was like, what? I only thought that intonation is a problem, you know, below 12th fret or something. But actually, you know, you press your string here and it's already off. You know, it's already off. So you can imagine how much more off it can get once you go lower the neck. So yeah, I couldn't settle my mind, and I really, you know, wanted to play on those 8s, even though the strings weren't as, you know, nice to chug, and they weren't as much percussive as I would love them to be. But actually this one little guitar just wouldn't let me, you know, settle on the idea of having this one guitar being not properly intonated on one string. And yeah, I have decided I'm gonna try and, you know, go with the hybrids, you know. Before all that, when I was going to 11s, I'm such a weirdo. I was born in 85, okay? I was born in 85. I like 8 as a number, 85 especially. And when I saw like 8s here, 8s here, 8s here, I was like, 8s here. Oh, there's so many 8s, you know, I'm gonna love 11s. You know what? I'm gonna order picks which are 85s. And actually, I found picks which are exactly 85 millimeter. Where are they? Why am I holding those strings all the time? There they are. I've actually... Oh, really? Oh, come on. I have actually ordered picks. I found that the Dario is making 85s, you know, like it's the end of the birthday year of mine. So actually they're crap. They're crap. They're, you know, they sound crappy. They're just crap. But yeah, I was thinking, I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm, you know, believe that maybe I'm gonna find like my own thing, you know, like 85 millimeter pick is gonna be my thing, my, you know, tgchan thing, or 11 strings because they've got 8s. I don't know, weird stuff is going on in my mind. And I really, this is one of the reasons I went for the 8s as well, as you can see. You know, I was trying to play with this pick, but I hated it, you know, I was struggling. Then I have switched to Alice guitar picks, which were nice because of the, you know, high tension strings, 11s. I was playing with a really light pick, and I liked how it snapped, you know, from one string to another. I love that, you know, scratching sound when it snapped to another sound, and the chugging. It was so fun, you know, to play with. But actually, you know, playing with lighter gauge strings, it was way too grippy and it pulled strings way too much. It didn't bend as much as with a higher gauge string, and at the end I dropped that really light and thin Alice pick. Where's my... and came back to my Jim Dunlop USA Jazz 3 Altex pick, which sounds just, you know, godly. And regardless of the string gauge, the sound of the guitar really, you know, is amazing. And it was amazing for light gauge strings as well, because it slides. It's the plastic is so hard and it's not grippy. The surface is really slippy. It's not slipping your finger, but as it goes for the strings, you can easily slide from one string to another. It is not you know, porous. So yeah, it actually plays much better with lighter string gauge, and it also works for higher you know, thicker gauge strings. So yeah, so I dropped that 88, you know, kind of BS, and that let me actually, you know, try out hybrid strings, and it's a fresh thing, you know. I have put those strings here, and the guitar intonates perfectly now, you know, like with the factory strings, gauge 46 to 9, and I've put 46 to 9 as well on the Telecaster to check it if it's gonna be bad, and to be honest, it's bad, you know. It reminded me when it originally came to me, and it was really uncomfortable to play because of the higher string tension, and the sound is, you know, weak because of the low output of pickups, which, you know, makes me think that, you know, I have to squeeze those chords, I plumb them, I strike the strings, and the sound is, you know, it's not that clean because there's some string buzzing, because I'm thinking, you know, I'm pressing the strings wrongly, badly, no, wrongly, no. You know, I'm not just, I'm missing some pressure on a couple of the strings, so yeah, it's not, you know, it's not pleasant to play on Telecaster with 46 to 9, but I'm trying to get over it, you know, relearn everything, because, you know, 46 to 9 sit somewhere between 11s and 8s, you know. It's not as light on the treble strings as 8s, but I've got this bass strings which are still really nice, you know, to strike harder, to get that percussive sound which I like that much, you know. The chugginess is there. I can put some more force onto the strings, and you know, they are easier to bend like 9s are, because the treble strings are identical as 9s, and the bass strings are identical as regular strings, you know. Ideally, I would... never mind. So yeah, I don't like them, you know. If I could, and I'm still thinking about going 8 again, you know, and just saying, to hell with you, Les Paul, you know, I'm gonna have you, you know, one string will be just, you know, it won't be intonated. And you might be asking, why am I not gonna, you know, have various gauge strings on different guitars? And I questioned the same thing myself, you know. There's something obviously wrong in my head. I want to have the very same gauge string on every single guitar, which doesn't make sense, because this neck is in a different scale and this neck is in different scale, has the different scale. So the tension is different here, tension is different here. So, and the tension is gonna be different here, but there is this neck sits somewhere between the Gibson's and Fender neck. So why would I, you know, keep one gauge string? I have no idea, you know. I think I like, you know, to make things, I don't know, nice, tidy and perfectly. And obviously you can't do it, you know, in life, because there's always something which will not fit into your perfect little world. So yeah, I'm struggling, but I have settled for 9 to 46 because yeah, it's like a little bit of, you know, light strings, a little bit of harder strings, and I bought like loads of those 946 because I thought this is gonna be my thing. This is, I thought it's gonna be, you know, my weight out of the dilemma between 8 and 11s, and it felt so good. It felt so good. This weird idea came to my mind. You need a new guitar, you know, like you deserve it. You've resolved some problem you've been, you know, fighting with for over 2 or 3 weeks. So you deserve a new guitar, and this is how the idea about getting pointy guitar came to my mind. Yeah, but I'm not sure about hybrid strings. Before they actually came, you know, I was already thinking about going back to 8s because of that bloody guitar, you know, because this thing is really not nice to play with anything thicker than 42 to 9s. So I have not decided yet, but if I'm not gonna like the 9 to 46 hybrids, I might leave 8s on my SG, because there's nothing wrong with it, you know, it sounds amazing. The little bit, you know, of the shortage of the sustain I can easily, you know, fix with a little bit more gain. I'm gonna fix this guitar with 8s, it's gonna play alright because the tension will be so, you know, low, it's gonna be nice to play, I guess. Here I have no idea what to do here yet, because yeah, I don't know if I put, I'm not really sure if those are 46, there might be 46, or I think it's 8, not really sure what strings are here. I know there are 8s here, there are still 8s here, you know, I'm not messing around because I'm still not sure if I'm gonna stay with hybrids. But in terms of string gauges, there is no wrong, to be honest. If your guitar intonates properly, if you like the feel of your strings, that's it. Your dilemma is over. You don't have to worry about tuning stability, because maybe slightly less stable extra light strings are, okay? Maybe they are a little bit, a little tiny bit less stable than thicker gauge string, but is it worth, you know, to worry about this? You still have to check your tuning after each song, right? So there's no problem in this. It's not tragic. It's not something you can, oh my god, 8s are really, you know, less stable in tuning kind of thing than 11s. It's not like that, okay? 11s went out of tune a couple of times on my Ibanez with locking keys, tuning keys, you know, with some heavy bending, and Gibson was out of tune with 8s, and when I put 8s on my Telecaster, yeah, they were out of tune as well, but once I have, you know, stretched them out, the tuning stability was there, you know, with 8s, and I really have not noticed anything troublesome that the 8s are, you know, less stable in tuning than thicker string gauge. So it all comes to one thing, you know, which string gauge you're comfortable to play with, to play on. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm never going back to 11s, especially not in the standard tuning, so they're out of, you know, out of my head right now. 9 to 42, not really. I don't want to go back to the place where I have found my Les Paul, you know, is missing something, and same goes with this guitar. So I don't want to go to 9 to 42s, okay? 8s, I can't intonate 8s on Les Paul. And 42 to 9, I can't intonate this as well, probably. I don't really remember, but as far as I remember, this is the A string, 42. 42, there's 36, where's then? 36, 36. No, I'm pretty sure you can't intonate, you know, 9s, regular 9s on 42 to 9s on my Les Paul. So I don't want this as well. So it's either 10s, which I don't like because treble strings are hard to bend. I mean, they're not hard to bend. You can used to it. If I could used to the 11s, I can used to 10s, but I don't want to. Okay. So it leaves me this RH9 Rotor Orange Hybrids, you know. It leaves me here. So this is like my answer for everything, you know. I can put it on every single guitar, I can intonate every single guitar, I can drop tuning with every single guitar with this. So this is like the best for me, but I can't stop thinking about this because of this. And I'm not gonna lie, it's even nice to play my SG, which you know, it's so easy to play. I can just, you know, I just flow because I just touch a little bit of touch of the string, you know, and it vibrates, you know, strong enough to sound good. So the big war, you know, is between those two string gauges, and for now I'm settling. I'm gonna settle for 9s because I want every single guitar to be, you know, to intonate properly. But for now, I'm keeping 8s on my Ibanez. I'm keeping 8s on my SG. I think there are 8s here as well. So I'm not touching those guitars because once I decide, Jesus, I'm really missing the F word here. F word here. I'm going back to 8. I don't give a crap about the intonation problem here. I'm gonna play 8s. I'm gonna be super easy to bend. I can do anything I want because it's so easy to play. I'm gonna have to change the strings only on 1, 2, 3 guitars, which is the same with those. Oh, I guess. But I don't know about you if you're gonna stay with me. So yeah. And don't be stupid like I am. Don't order a bunch of guitar strings you're not sure with. And by the way, I don't know if you came up with this conclusion in all this chaos of my monologue, but if I had only one guitar, I would have no problem with intonation, probably. No problem with different string gauges because I would have only one guitar, and I would have no problem with balance because probably that would be my first guitar, and if I would have only this, I could play 8s, 9s, hybrids, 11s, no problem with balance, no problem with anything, to be honest. I could just focus on playing. So if I could go all the way back, you know, I don't think I would order more guitars because actually it's a problem, you know. I mean, it's a nice problem to have because once you get bored with one guitar, you just pick up another one and it feels different and it's something different. If you like changes like me, it's nice, you know. But every single guitar has one of the downside, you know. It's hard to play. This one actually have lots of downsides. Never mind. But yeah, it's different. It's cool. I really love how guitars look like, you know. I love the aesthetics of guitars. I love to look at them, and it's really empty when I'm hoovering my room. When I take them out to hoover underneath the guitar stands, it's so empty. I feel like I'm missing every single one of them, but there's so much, you know, dilemma, problem, differences between each guitar, and it probably hinders my progress as well because I'm wasting tons of time on buying new guitars, switching strings, setting them up, then switching the strings, and you know, I'm just circling in one place instead of going farther down the, you know, skill-wise. I don't know, I've lost my train of thought. I'm not improving. I'm just, you know, circling and getting deeper and deeper in philosophy of strings, of setting up the guitar with differences in each guitar, instead of, you know, being a better player, right? So yeah. So in a nutshell, the string gauge doesn't really matter. What it matters is what can you do with those strings, right? And how you feel about them. So I'm gonna have to make up my mind. And yeah, maybe 8s on those guitars, maybe hybrids on different guitars. Maybe I'm gonna have to, you know, finally slap my mind around and tell myself, just take it easy. It doesn't matter. You can have 8s here, hybrids here, 10s here, and even if you want to, you can have 11s there. It doesn't matter, you know. Every single guitar plays differently, feels different, sits on your shoulder differently. So why would you like to have same, you know, string gauge? that wouldn't even feel the same on, you know, different guitars. I don't know. There's a big chaos in my mind. I just know one thing, that string gauges don't really matter in terms of sound. It doesn't really matter. It matters in sound, in a way of your guitar intonation, if you can really intonate it properly, or do you like, you know, more tension on your string or less tension. But the sound wise, nope. You can get used to, you know, how your guitar sounds like in a matter of couple of minutes. And you know, there's so much differences between each guitar. Guitars with higher output pickups will have you know, greater sustain with light gauge strings. This guitar has a high output pickups. Probably if I would put 11s on Telecaster, I would still get a greater sustain on SG, you know? Do you see what I'm talking about? So, I don't know. I just don't know. I would love to be, you know, sure of, you know, what am I supposed to do in life, and what kind of guitar I'm supposed to be using, but maybe it's not my thing. Maybe my thing in this life is, you know, trying like everything and seeing all those differences, you know. Anyway, if you have any questions, if you might be having any questions, just, you know, don't be shy. You know, question me as well, but you know, ask me anything. I'm gonna try and help you out. But yeah, as far as strings goes, the thing is, you can't really tell the difference between the gauge of the strings. And imagine, what about the brand of the strings? You know, like, oh, Fender strings sound so nice, they sound so much better. And I'm not telling that, you know, there aren't people there out there who can tell the difference between the string brands, but if you can get used to almost any gauge string in terms of sound and playability, does the brand really matter? I don't think so. So okay, enough yapping. I have to start, you know, hoovering my house, not my house, my parents' house, and then it's time for you pointy, sexy bastard. I need to play this guitar a lot, just to be a little more sure what to do with it. Okay, so roto sound strings. For now, those are strings of my choice, simply because, you know, easy to bend, nice tension. I can hit those bass strings, and they intonate on every guitar. I can drop tune on every single guitar. They're like the most universal strings, you know. Tens probably as well, but yeah, they're harder to bend. Treble strings, so there we go, I guess. I've said so much, but I have no idea if there's any, you know, valuable informations for you people out there. Hopefully there are, and hopefully you have learned something, but yeah, it feels like I've wasted lots of money on different strings, gauges, sets. I've wasted lots of hours changing those strings, intonating, setting all those guitars, and it all came to the point where I started, you know. It's almost the same gauge when with which this guitar came with, Another battery died on me. So going back to the topic, I have learned so much. I've learned so much, yet I don't know what to do exactly with that information I have learned. You know, I know a couple of things, but yeah, I've learned a lot, you know. I've learned a lot of experience with, you know, that you can really get used to the really heavy strings, you can get used to the really light strings, and that you can enjoy both, you know, spectrum of super light, super heavy, and you will have to deal with different downsides and, you know, positive things and negative things. But yeah, hopefully you guys got some you know, nice information, and if there's something still, you know, bothering you, maybe I've got answer, you know, for you to the question that bothers you. So that's it, I guess. It's time to take care of the house, hoover a lot, clean my room, and stop yapping, stop filming. I really don't want to film anymore. And start finally playing the guitar. This one in particular, because every single other is already mine. This is still not my guitar, and it's actually your job, you know, to oh my god, I'm missing words again. You know, to make me like you more and decide that you're staying with me. But for now, I'm almost sure I'm gonna have to, you know, be man enough about it and just send it back, because it's just super uncomfortable to play. How uncomfortable? I'm gonna show you for the last time how uncomfortable. For the last time I'm gonna show you guys, because I don't think we will be having another film about Ghost Threat. So just give me a second. And I'm gonna show you for the last time how this particular guitar don't mind my square on my head. This is the last time I'm showing this, but just so you know what to expect when you order a guitar with strap button on the wing with the Explorer type body, okay? This is what you can expect. This is, I'm moving just a little bit, This is natural, you know, balance of this guitar. Good luck playing it. And this is what I was, you know, going through when I was trying to tune the guitar. You can't even tune it comfortably, you know, because the neck is just sliding away. I'm gonna tune it. I'm gonna have to take it. Tuning. So yeah, it's horrible. It's beyond my mind. I have no idea if that button would actually fix it. I think so, but I'm not really sure, you know. So I might be still ordering that Gibson for the very similar price of that guitar, because it has the button at the back, and then I will be sure. And if I really can't play the guitar, which neck dives like so, I'm not gonna miss this one, obviously, because there's, I mean, yeah, the price is good, the hardware is alright, but if I can't play it, doesn't matter, right? Thank you for watching, guys. Until next time.